Y'all, my little notebook over here to the side is full because he was just dropping wisdom. And I mean, really, it was so practical but impactful because it came alongside his story. Hello, and welcome to Carrier Code, your insight track to the strategies, stories, and leaders driving the trucking industry forward. Today's episode is sponsored by Driver's Legal Plan, CDL Ticket Defense for Professional Drivers, and produced by Bulldog, Trucking's Podcast Pros. I'm Christy Choice, here with my co-host, Rocco Morari. How's it going today, Rocco?
Christy, it's going great. I am super excited again for today's guest.
Are we ever not excited? I'm just in a constant state of excitement for everything we have going on.
It is because it's new every week. It's something new that we get to talk about, that we get to share information that our listeners are learning and we're learning at the same time. And it's great to hear. And today is no different. We're going to get some great information from our guest here. He has some insightful things to share. And I am looking forward for everybody who's listening to take a little piece home with them.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And so, Rocco, one of the things that I don't know if our audience knows is that we get lots of LinkedIn messages, Facebook comments, people emailing us at knowthecode@carriercodepodcast.com, wanting to be on the show, wanting to congratulate us, wanting to just partner with us and give their perspectives. And so, yeah, we say it, but it is overwhelming to sit in this seat and to know that we needed a voice in the industry that was going to just give it to you how it is. And we wanted to provide this safe space for wonderful conversations, and it's happening. And so if you're out there and you want to contribute, you want to chime in, you can go ahead and email us to knowthecode@carriercodepodcast.com or visit our website at carriercodepodcast.com. Now, we want to prepare everyone for this next segment because we get to talk to Graig Morin, the president and co-founder of Brown Dog Carriers. It's going to be a good one, you all. Check it out. Rocco and I are so excited to have Graig Morin, the president and co-founder of Brown Dog Carriers, with us today. Hey, Graig, what's up?
Hey, how are you guys doing today?
Oh,
we're doing well.
Better now that you're here. Oh my gosh.
And life is nice up here in Maine. What can we say?
Oh, wonderful. Well, we're going to have a really good discussion today. And our conversation is around building a better fleet. I have the pleasure of being able to say that I've worked with you for some years now, Graig. But, we just kind of want to dive into Brown Dog Carriers, your story. So go ahead and tell us a little bit about you and how Brown Dog Carriers came to be.
So I started driving back in 1999, right out of high school. Started off, I was 18 years old when I got my license. So I worked for Coke here locally, delivering soda to stores. Moved my way into a paving company. I did all kinds of stuff throughout the years. Did some regional work, but mostly I was local. The majority of my career outside of Brown Dog was with a local heavy haul company. We did towing and heavy equipment. And then I was kind of tired of all of it. I knew at some point I wanted to start my own company. And I figured I was getting older. I had 2 kids already at that point, and I didn't want to be on call anymore. And I'll get into that whole thing later, but it was more of I just needed to do what I thought I would do 20 years prior. So, I was driver for 20 years, almost 2 million miles for other companies. And I said, you know what? It is time I start my own company. And started, I had a consultant that helped me out. He's now my business partner, and just kind of told him what I wanted to do. And it just kind of formed. And it was more of I want to start a trucking company that I would want to work for as a driver. I want to have good pay, good insurance, and people that actually care and not call you by your truck number. And that was one of my jobs. I was 301 for a year, and it drove me crazy. And so I just decided, hey, here we go. We're going to start Brown Dog Carriers, and which was named after my dog Lily, who was a brown dog. And I was looking to incorporate the company like the next day, and I really had to come up with a name. And so I'm sitting there with a pad and paper, and I've been working at this for 20 years. You figure I would have had a name by then, but my dog sat near me, and I said, hey, Brown Dog. And it was just like, poof, there it was. So I called my business partner. I said, use Brown Dog Carriers as the name. And he's like, genius. I was like, all right, let's roll with it.
Oh,
So
I
we
love
did.
that.
And Lily has now passed on. Now I have 3 white dogs, and all my logos are white. So, but it's
so
a conversation.
both. It's still both.
Oh, that's so cool.
Yeah. So it's a conversation piece. Like, how are you called Brown Dog, but all your logos are white? Well, you're talking about it. So it's marketing genius.
It works. Marketing 101. I love that.
Yeah.
That's funny because we had a lab name or a golden name, Lily. So I just resonated with me. That was wonderful.
Yeah. And I have 3 Goldens now. So.
Oh, well, I never knew that part. Graig, I never knew that, the story of Lily and how the name came to be. But what I did know is that you sought out to build a company that you would want to work for. You said it so smooth there, but that thing, I mean, I could have did some finger snaps because, I mean, that is something that I think we need more of in the industry, right? Less of a driver by number and more of a, hey, is this company one that drivers can say that they're proud to work for, right? Because they're being treated well and they're part of a community. They're part of growing something that's bigger than them. So I absolutely love it. Now, Graig, you and I have been able to get a little close when we've been like traveling on the road. You are everywhere. And I love being able to just see you grow and thrive and contribute in so many wonderful ways. But tell us about some of the organizations that you're a part of and what that means, not just for you personally, but what it means for Brown Dog Carriers and how it's helped you out grow in the industry.
So we'll start off with the Maine Professional Drivers Association. I started with those guys probably 20 years ago. I paid my dues, which was only $20 a year or something, and it's still that price. And I'm still with them, and I'm actually the president of that organization now. And I just kind of grew with those guys, and I would learn from guys that have been doing this for years and years before me and built friendships there. When I started the company, I got involved with Maine Motor Transport, and they helped me through a lot of the starting a company, the DOT stuff and learning about the big green book, basically. And those guys helped me through a lot. And as I went on in our little, and we are in a very small world up here in Maine, and I started off with 2 trucks. When I got to 7 trucks, a gentleman named Barry Pottle. Many of you may know him.
Yep.
From Pottle's Transport up here in Maine. Mm-hmm. He's now retired. He got me involved a little bit. Said, I'm going to meet you in Vegas, and you're going to go to the Truckload Carriers Association conference. I said, I don't know anything about it.
Okay.
I said, well, okay. Well, let's go. And that was a few months earlier. Then the show started, and then I was at a McLeod user conference, and I met Jim Ward there and Marley and a couple others from the TCA. And Jim's like, oh, well, we're super involved with Race Across America, which I was at the time involved pretty heavily with Race Across America. I was like, well, anyone that supports Race Across America, I can get down with. Let's make a party. So I joined TCA. Barry invites me to meet him out in Vegas, and it all just starts there. I met some great friends my first time to Vegas. I didn't know really anybody in the industry outside of my little ecosystem here in Maine. I didn't know anyone. Barry was great, but Barry also had a lot of other friends he was going to dinners with and whatnot. And I'd be kind of just looking around like, who do I hang out with? And then I got to talking and I met some people, and you all know who I'm talking about. Miss Marilyn Saber and Brad Klepper and that whole group of people that kind of just brought me in and showed me what kind of things are all about without really showing me. They were just friends. And I met so many great people like you guys and throughout the years. And it sort of took what I'm doing with these organizations and kind of brought it up to another level of, well, I can get, and these guys are super involved. I can get super involved too. Whereas when I first started, I was more of the guy that sat in the corner drinking a beer by himself. Now we're out there and we're all chatting, and that's the big part, is the networking piece of it, and learning
Absolutely.
the different what people do. And like with 10th Street, I had no idea what 10th Street was when Marilyn worked there, and I had to ask her, I'm like, what is it that you do? Like what's 10th Street? She told me. I was like, oh geez, I could use that. And that
Yeah.
changed my world. That was like,
Yeah.
my goodness, that was, mind-numbingly good for me. It's like, but I never knew I needed it until talking
Yeah.
in that scenario. And it was and that goes for a lot of different groups that I've met over the years. And so that's why I decided to get more involved and, get on the membership committee with the TCA. I'm the chairperson for the Image and Communications Committee right now, on the board of directors, and, just kind of doing my thing and enjoying it and meeting new people every day.
Man, I almost ran out of fingers. Okay, Maine Professional Drivers Association, the Maine Trucking Association, TCA, and all the wonderful hats that you wear there, Wreaths Across America, right?
Yeah.
Like,
And I'm on
and
their board of
the
directors.
networking. Yeah, yes. All of the networking just from, taking a chance and saying, look, I want to build a company that I'm proud to work for, that prioritizes drivers, and being willing to say, you know what? Yeah, I'm going to travel from Maine to Vegas, on the recommendation of someone who I respect, and all this time later, how it has opened up so many doors for you. Well, it goes without saying that I'm very, very proud to know you and to call you friend. But I love this story of networking and community, because to me, that is what the trucking industry is. And that's how
It
you
certainly
build a
is.
better fleet. Hmm.
Yeah. And I never knew it. When I started the company, I was very just New England based. I didn't get out very far. Uh, Trucking wise, I never was over the road. I did some work down in New York City after 9/11, um, but never really met anyone. As a truck driver, you don't typically get that deep into the weeds. You're there, do a job, and move on out. Um, when I started Brown Dog, I didn't know really what was out there. Again, I worked for many local companies, and yeah, okay, so they were involved with the local chamber of commerce, and actually that worked out for me too, because I got some really great insurance rates back when I first started, so I was able to offer insurance to my drivers. So everything has its place, and as we grew, we moved on from that and grew into the TCA and the ATA and other things. And I'm looking down the barrel of some other stuff that has been suggested that I should try out. And I'm kind of an open book when it comes to it. And anything I can do to make my company better is kind of what I go for. And you can't make your company better if you're just sitting in your own little ecosystem and just doing your own little thing. You got to get out there and hear what everyone else is doing. And there's
Hmm.
things that I've found that other companies are doing that I think are great. And others are like, it doesn't work for us, but great, it's
Yeah.
working
Yeah.
for them. But you don't know that until you network with people and learn what's going on all around the country and what you can bring, what we can bring back here to Maine. There's many other companies, and some have been bought out by some giant companies. And so it's taken us smaller family owned companies. We're fairly limited now in the state. And, I want to keep, my end here as long as I can. But again, if you're interested in buying a trucking company, look me up.
Well, and Greg, you've touched on a ton of great topics and just insight. So, at Carrier Code, we have mega fleets listening. We have
Yep.
people with one truck, people who are looking to break into the industry.
Yeah.
What advice would you give somebody looking to break into the industry, or even expand from, like you stated, 2 trucks to 7, and then from there,
Yep.
because it's a tough industry to navigate, and you have the experience that you've shared already. So what would you tell somebody getting into the industry? How can you expand? What do you need to do to better yourself and better your company?
Yeah. So my first thing would be run for the hills. But I know guys and women like myself that have that heart that really want to do it are going to go do it no matter what anyone says. You can be called crazy 1,000 times, and I was. And so what I suggest is study the industry. I spent years reading Fleet Owner magazine, Heavy Duty Truck magazine, and I was just invited to their summit just back in September. I got my first invite, so like all these things that you do to start your career, or not necessarily just start your career, but start your journey into owning a trucking company. You got to know what's going on in the industry, right, wrong, or indifferent. It's not the greatest world right now in trucking in some aspects, and in some, but if you find your niche and it works, God bless, run for it. My thing, the hardest part that I found was dealing with insurance. That was difficult. Like, don't go out there and pay people to go help you get a DOT number. That's a waste of money. Do not let somebody help you get your MC, you get your authority. That is all stuff you can get through your state association. They are more than happy to help you. At least that's my experience with the state of Maine. And I've met many state association presidents, and they are all in the same boat. There's so many resources out there. You don't need to pay for certain things that people are. As soon as you apply for a DOT number, you will get 100 phone calls at minimum that day from people trying to sell you. Oh, well, let me do it for you. I'll charge you $300 or I'll charge you $500, whatever it is. Don't, because you don't need it. It just gets in the way. It's a mess. But insurance was a battle for us after the first bit. When we got over 7 to 10 trucks, it started getting difficult. And every year was like, who knows? So October 1st of this year, just 14 days ago, we ended up in a captive, and it was a lot. That's a big haul for a little carrier, but we looked at it as a long run game of, I can't every year go crawling to an insurance company and begging them to cover me because I don't know if I'm going to run at midnight. And that's what it was. And it would stress me out to no end. So now I don't have that stress. But somebody coming into the
Graig,
industry is
can
not
you
going to get into
can you
that.
let the listeners know what a captive is? Because there may be some who don't understand what a captive is. So that'd be great to get your insight.
Yeah, so it's funny because I didn't know what a captive was until about a year or so ago, and it was all kind of introduced to us through the TCA. My business partner was with me. Our first year out there, we became clients of Cottingham Butler. Sorry to name drop if that's not all right, but
no, that's okay.
That's fine. That's fine. That's fine.
They were treating us very well with our regular insurance, just our regular market insurance. And my business partner was at a dinner with someone, and they were talking about it, and he wanted to get more information. And so it's like a self-insured. You're in a group with some other trucking companies, and you guys basically insure each other. And it's a fairly large deposit to put in and get yourself into it. You have to be kind of invited in by the group. So as long as you're doing all the right things, in which we've really tried hard to do as far as safety goes. Like last year, we won the state of Maine championship for carriers under 4 million miles for their safety award.
Oh, that's great.
And was news to me. I had no idea. So I let out, I was shocked when we won it. But extremely proud of what we had done in 7 years of being in business. Because, who can pull that off against, some large companies like Safe Handling Corporation? They're nationwide. They got people that do safety all day for a living. We're out there washing trucks and moving loads, and there's only 4 of us in our office. So it's, to get that honor was amazing. But it's all those little things that you do that can get you into, whether it's a captive or however you do it. And even with our insurance company, our most recent past one, they were good to us. The one before that was miserable, but this past one, they were really good to us. They sent a risk assessment manager over. We sat for 4 hours last year, and he said, you know what? I've been grilling you. We've gone out and looked at trucks, the cleanliness, the detail, your offices. Like, I have nothing to report back. He was so thrilled with the way we ran our company. And I was like, it took me back a little bit because I was expecting this guy's going to do this, and this, and be just miserable to work with. And it wasn't that way.
That is amazing because what you're talking about here, um, to me, it's identifying what your strengths are and what you need to delegate, right? And so just like you said, look, there's most of it that I can do and I can take, but this whole insurance thing, oh boy, I'm going to need help. So to me, that's a story of working your resources, working your network. And I absolutely agree that there are lots of state trucking associations that offer resources, and you just have to know to ask, right? And so there are some things where it's just like, hey, if you need help, and you want to get it for free, or to be connected with the proper resources that have helped other folks who are reputable in your area, by all means, get plugged into your state trucking association. So I second that. Sing it from the hills. I get to go to lots of state trucking association conferences and events, and some of them are doing it really, really well. Some of them are just doing it, but some of them are doing it really, really, really well.
It depends. It depends. There's that fine line.
Yeah, in
Yeah,
Maine,
yeah.
it's fairly small, obviously being up here, but those guys are rock stars. All of them that work up there, they will bend over backwards if they don't have. Typically, they have the answer right away. If they don't, they'll go back in minutes and have an answer for you. I've asked questions about other industries, like, hey, I might be
Oh,
interested in this. What are your thoughts? And they'll tell you. And it's nice that, and for my yearly dues that I pay to those guys, it is peanuts in comparison to
yeah.
what they offer. And I'm assuming that's probably all associations. I don't know because I'm only part of one, but if you want to get into this industry, you can't just sit back in your little ecosystem in your comfort zone. I certainly didn't, because my comfort zone was not being out in Vegas with, hundreds of people I don't know talking about stuff that I think I know about, but don't really know. Like, it's one of those things. So you're just going to get out, get your feet dirty a little bit, and um, be with the people that are here doing it every day. And I like to think of myself as some sort of mentor. I'm happy to answer anybody's phone call when it comes to, hey, what are your thoughts? And we do that with owner operators up here all the time. I have guys calling me all the time saying, hey, I'd like to get my own truck. What are your thoughts? Like, all right, well, what do you know about the industry? Well, nothing. Well,
Well, hold
We'll see how
on.
that goes.
But no, I think you even said it how years before you got into ownership, with Brown Dog, you were doing your homework. You were reading
yeah,
those publications, and you were, just storing up all of that knowledge and that information because you knew that, hey, one day this is going to come in handy. But I think it definitely has served you because you know how things work, even from having been a driver, right? And I can't say enough about taking the responsibility to learn, and to grow and to challenge yourself. And I think yours is a story of perseverance, but it's also very inspiring to hear, that you sought out to build a company you would be proud to work for. And I know you and I have chit chatted about some of your drivers before, and I know that they're proud of you just like you're proud of them. But tell us a little bit about your fleet, how it's growing, how it's changing, and how they are responding to the things that are going on in the industry right now. What's going on with them?
yeah. So my fleet, I started in 2017, July. Who was it? What, July 11th of 2017. Started with 2 trucks, no authority. Got my authority at 7 a.m. on the 11th, and I had the first roll of paper going onto my truck at 7:05.
Oh,
I had the
wow.
truck sitting at the outside of the gate at that particular shipper, and I was like, well, hopefully we get it. Hopefully the government's correct. And as soon as I got that authority in my hand, bang, that truck was getting loaded. And this is how I'm going to run this company. We're going to ride by the seat of our pants a little bit. We'll have a plan. When the plan goes to shit, we're going to fix it, and we'll continue on, because
Yeah.
your
Yeah.
plan's never going to stay the same. And that's kind of how I've grown with my company is, I didn't have a set plan. I knew I kind of wanted to get to a certain number of trucks, but I didn't know exactly how I was going to get there. So it kind of just rolled organically. So we started with 2, realizing we needed a couple more to kind of make some money moving around a little bit. So we get a couple more, drivers. Then I get a couple more, and we're at 7. Then we were at 7 trucks for a little bit. Had some great drivers. Some of them are still with me. I got a guy that started on day 1 with me. He's still there. Call a few guys, still there. And they said, I want to work for you because I want to watch you grow. And well, we've been doing that, and together we have done that. And then I was in Vegas the second time I went to Vegas. We had put in a RFP for one of the customers we were working for. We were only doing a couple loads a day for them. And they said they wanted to get rid of all the outside contractors except for 1. And I was up against some heavy hitters. Like, well, I'm going to try. So I put in, and it was for 15 trucks per day, 7 days a week. I was, all right, well, we're going to give it a shot. What could go wrong? What are they going to say? No.
Come on,
So we're
Graig.
up
Tell
against
us.
all the big guys that typically do the local work, and you probably know their names, but we won. I'm sitting in Vegas. I get the call. We won the bid. I was like, okay, how much money am I putting down on the next slot machine? Let's go.
Right? Here we grow again, right?
Here
That's
we
what
go
that
again.
sounds like.
And then it was one of those things. I'm like, wait a minute. I got 7 trucks. I need to have 15. Plus, I need to staff them. I'm only one guy. I can only drive so much because I was still driving here and there. And we had worked out a plan of a kind of a growth plan with that organization. And we met every milestone, and it's worked out good. So we proved ourselves with that customer. And literally, I started with calling them, said, hey, could I get it all load for you? And it was, yeah, why not? I had some friends there. Like, yeah, we'll give you a load here and there. So I went up, took 1 load, I drove it. I got another one, and then we're getting another. So, we went from 1 here and there to, we could be doing 30 loads a day on those 15 trucks, 15, 20 trucks,
Wow.
30 to 35.
Wow.
Then it is funny because in all of my time, I've made 1 cold call to all my customers. And it's not this particular one, but we still have that customer. All the others have called us, and we've just kind of worked with it. Some of the folks I knew through the industry from my years past, and they just reached out. But I am not a salesperson by any stretch of the imagination. I cannot cold call. I don't want to do it. I don't ask for money. I don't do any of that. So kind of running a company where kind of sales is very important. I've been very lucky, and the thing is if you're starting a trucking company, surround yourself with people that are better than you at things. My business partner, he's got me beat 10 ways to Sunday when it comes to finance. I can't hold a candle. I've got a really good team in the office. I've got my right-hand guy, Jeff. I got Jeff, John, Tim. I got these guys that are willing to do whatever it is that I need them to do, which allows me to go out and do the things that I want to do, which is be a part of the community, helping out with Reese Across America. I spend a couple weeks helping to load trucks. I go down to Arlington, lay wreaths. We have trucks in the convoy. There's a lot of things that I do that help build the company in different ways. And those guys are all there. I never have to worry about a thing at the office. They're on it. So you got to surround yourself with good people.
Graig, so, we have uncertain times right now. I think we're all aware of that within the industry, but what does the future look like for Brown Dog? Can you give us just a little bit of insight there?
Yeah. So we've been in this recession for a couple of years now. And how we look at it at Brown Dog is I told my business partner when this started, obviously listening to the folks at ATA and TCA, this is going to be a difficult period. So this is going to be the survival of the fittest. So we're going to focus on the customers we have and treat them perfect. We need to be there for them no matter what. And so with all of the everything happening. We haven't lost a customer. We haven't lost rates from a customer. And it's all about that customer service, because when COVID was going on, we didn't gouge the customer. We just stayed steady, keep it steady. And they have kept it steady with us. They all know where the market is and what they could be getting for transportation. But thing is, we offer something special. When the customer calls, I'm typically answering the phone, or I can, if, there might be others that get it before me, but I'm right there. I am at an arm's reach. Like, what do you need? And we will pivot that very day. We're not big enough where we're like the Titanic, where we're going to crash into a few icebergs in between. No, we're going to move and we're going to do what you need. And so the future is bright. We have great customers. We just extended a contract with one of them, but that doesn't even matter. It's, what do you offer for customer service, and are you proud of that service? So I can say, yes, we are proud of it. Now, we are no different than anyone else. We are a company that is run by a bunch of humans, and there will be chaos no matter what. That's just how it goes in this industry. There is chaos, and it doesn't matter if it's on the customer side, our side, but what it is how do we get beyond it, move on, and fix whatever might have been chaotic. And that's what we do. And we communicate, and communication is so critical these days, because if you don't, they're going to go somewhere else and they don't care. Because anyone can offer a service, but are they going to get the true service? So I think our future is looking good. We work very, very hard with our customers to keep them happy. At Brown Dog, we are all at the same level. Management, customers, and employees, we are all right here, and we are all striving for the greater good of an industry.
Love that.
And to make things flow fairly smoothly. Now, we are a very small component of the greater good of the trucking industry, but we are going to make a splash in that tiny little bit, and that tiny little pool that we're in. We're going to make a big splash at it, and we're going to do our best. Right now, I'm able to keep 40 truck drivers fed, their families happy. I'm happy. My wife and kids are happy. Life is nice.
Oh my goodness. Well, you have given us so much to think about. Number one, your story is inspiring, but number two, you have proven that dedication over time can equal some pretty good payouts here, and not just in the ways that you're able to grow and sustain your business, but also for the community. I know how involved you are, and it really truly is inspiring that you're able to say, "Hey, I know because I have a great team holding it down that I can go travel and I can be a part of these conversations and go to these events because it's all to make Brown Dog better, but also to give back." And so thank you so much, Greg, for sharing your story with us today, and giving us some very, very tangible, practical tips to building a better fleet.
Thanks for having me. And, obviously you guys are my friends. So I started listening to you from your first episode, and, it was needed. A real common sense, down to earth podcast was really needed. And you have great subject matter, and I love it. So very happy to be here. Very happy to chat about my little world up here in Maine.
Yay. Thank you so much again. All right. Oh my goodness. You just made my day, Greg. Okay. Well, we'll have more on Carrier Code Podcast after this break.
Carrier Code is sponsored by Drivers Legal Plan, CDL ticket defense for professional drivers. Hey, it's Rocco from Carrier Code. Every professional driver knows how important it is to protect your CDL. A single ticket can put your livelihood at risk, and that's where Drivers Legal Plan comes in. With just a phone call, you can get specialized CDL ticket defense for just $2.98 a week. Don't let a ticket jeopardize your trucking career. Contact Drivers Legal Plan today and let them defend you like they have more than 400,000 other cases. When you need CDL ticket defense, there is only one, Drivers Legal Plan. Call 1-800-580-8789 or visit driverslegalplan.com for your free consultation. Again, that's 1-800-580-8789 or driverslegalplan.com.
Welcome back to Carrier Code Podcast, where today we've been talking all about building a better fleet. Now, we've just wrapped up the conversation with Graig Morin from Brown Dog Carriers. And y'all, my little notebook over here to the side is full because he was just dropping wisdom. And I mean, really, it was so practical, but impactful because it came alongside his story. Rocco, what were your takeaways?
Oh my gosh, there were so many. A couple big things that really stood out to me is take chances. That's one of the big things, especially in being new to the industry. Take a chance, network. And I think we spoke about that. I can't tell you how many times we spoke about that. And now we have somebody really bringing a real world experience, telling our listeners networking is real, networking works. Surround yourself with people better than you. And I think that is
Ooh,
a
that
very,
was a good
very
one.
big, important subject here. We're not all good
Yeah.
at everything. We're good at what each of us have strengths. Put people around you that are better than you when you're weak and when you have weaknesses. And I think that was a big thing that a lot of people listening maybe, in the day-to-day don't take light of that. So, when you have that coming from an owner, business owner who's grown and scaled his business, that's really impactful. And there's some of the little nuggets that I took from this. And I think a lot of our listeners are going to feel the same because, like I said, there was wisdom being dropped left and right. And I'm going to go back and watch and listen to this a couple times because Graig really, really brought some insightful information here.
Yeah. And even from the perspective of knowing the direction where he wanted to go and preparing ahead of time by just staying, with his ear to the ground in the industry. And one of the most impactful things I will say was customer service, right? I think sometimes we get very wrapped up in go, 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 do, that we don't stop and make sure that we're taking care of people. And Graig is not just taking care of his drivers, he's taking care of his back office people, he's taking care of his community with his involvement with Reads Across America and some of the other organizations that he's a part of. But it's about that community, right? And believing in something that's larger than you. And so, I mean, there was so many good things in today's episode, and I hope everyone is able to listen in. Because building a better fleet really starts with understanding what your place is and what impact you want to make. And then you go from there, right? And connecting yourself with the right people, just like you said, Rocco. I thought, man, it was so good. And maybe we'll have Graig back on in the future to give us an update on Brown Dog.
Yeah.
As things in the industry continue to grow, develop, and evolve. What do you think, Rocco?
Oh, I think that would be great. Graig has such good information and the outlook that he has is fantastic, and we spoke at the break and, one of the things that impacted me and I know you as well is when he said, he's got 40 drivers, families that are fed and his family and his partners. And that's important. When you have that type of mentality, knowing that there's others around, it's just not you, you're going to grow, you're going to succeed. So I want him back here in the future and see where he's gone from here.
Yeah. Well, here at Carrier Code Podcast, we want to see the industry win. And it starts with taking a long, hard look at your processes, your procedures, your policies, and all of that. But it also takes you to look at your people and to look introspectively at yourself. And so, again, with hearing all of this wonderful information, there's a lot that we can take away from the conversation. So don't stop digging in. If you want to connect with Graig, he's on LinkedIn, he is on Facebook, and he's always sharing wonderful things about the industry from his little slice of heaven up in Maine. Carrier Code Podcast is sponsored by Drivers Legal Plan, CDL Ticket Defense for professional drivers, and produced by Bulldog, Trucking's podcast pros. New episodes drop every week, so be sure to like, subscribe, and follow so you never miss an episode. You can visit us anytime at carriercodepodcast.com. You'll also find us on all the social channels at Carrier Code Podcast. Thanks again for joining us. And until next week, I'm Christy.
And I'm Rocco.
And this is Carrier Code.